readings na yun. Then one of those readings ay the ones who walk away from Umelas. Yun pala yung title na yun. So you read that the short story. Kung nahirapan kayong umintindi ng reading, try to look for summaries. May summaries din sa internet, online. Then mga reviews, what is this short story all about? So ninyo basahin nyo yan. It's very interesting that we can use that in our future discussions. And then when we discuss Immanuel Kant also, particularly the concept of categorical imperative, parang it fits in the narrative of Immanuel Kant, yung kanyang a kingdom of ends. Meron kasing concept si Kant na ganyan kingdom of ends, wherein people treat each other as ends, no? But not as means. So a very idealistic society, and then parang utopia in some sense. And then what we're trying to figure out, what is it like to have a world or a society that is closer to a utopia. In short, if there is a perfect society, what would it be like? Parang ganon. Kung meron mang sakasakaling merong perfect society, what would how would it look like? Parang ganun tong Immanuel Kant, kingdom of ends, and then relate with the story Umelas, kasi in a sense parang utopia yung doon yung dinrawing ni Gwen yung sulat mo, ginuhit niya in a short story yung society na pwede nating sabihin a perfect society. Pero iba yung scenario na makikita natin dun sa story na yun. So how to explain, how to describe the categorical imperative to accountancy students? Kasi yung the word is imperative, categorical imperative. It is a must. You must do it, kumbaga. So the ethics of Immanuel Kant is also called as ethics of duty. So why? Because you are obliged to do it. It is your duty to the human society, to the whole of human society. It is your obligation. It's your duty. You are compelled to be good. You're compelled to do it. You're compelled to perform morally acceptable actions. So, ganun yung konsepto ni Immanuel Kant na categorical imperative. Oh, it's okay. So, to accountancy students, what is this categorical imperative? Simple lang, merong analogy diyan to the state, no? Because you will be, in the future, you will become, some of you perhaps would become public accountants, yung tinatawag na, anong tawag yan sa mga CPA, Certified public accountants. So ano ba yung ina-account? Ano ba yung accountability na ginagawa ng mga accountants? Ay yung tax, di ba? Ikaw ay businessman, so I'm going to account all of your financial and monetary transactions related to your business in order that you'll be able to pay the appropriate tax to the state. So ang tax, it is an obligation to the state. You're compelled to do it. Pag di ka nagbayad ng tax, mayroon kang pananagutan sa estado. Kung ay huhulihin, papatawan ka ng malaking punishment. Kagaya nung nangyari ng mga hinabol ni President Duterte ba, ng mga oligarchs, mga mayayamang businessmen na dati hindi nagbabayad ng mga tax ay ngayon napipilitang magbayad ng tax, no? Isang halimbawa yung Philippine Airlines, no? Sinong may-ari ng Philippine Airlines na hindi na kayo makapag-operate kung hindi kayo magbayad. Ganun ka stricto. So nagbayad yung Philippine Airlines. Another one is yung ABS-CBN, no, na inanapan sila ng gusot sa kanilang yung tax, no, and they were asked to pay, and then eventually that led to the cancellation of their franchise. So yun, parang ganyan ang when we talk of categorical imperative, we are yung tax, we are compelled to pay our taxes. Kahit tayo ordinary citizens, kahit estudyante ka pa, nagbayad ka na ng tax. In what way? Value added tax. Every time you purchase a good sa Lazada, Shopee, or kahit bumili ka, no, meron yung value added tax. 9% to 12% na pinatong dun sa price ng goods. Kaya tumaas yung presyo. Yan ang so as an ordinary citizen, we're taxpayers kasi every time bumili tayo, may patong that amount will go to the state. Ganun itong Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. We are obliged to perform good actions. So, kahit hindi tayo i-obliged, it is a human inclination to help in times of disaster, may bagyo, may naanod sa baha, instinct ng tao, tulungan natin, sagipin natin. Kahit di ko makakilala yan, pero buhay ng tao yan, sasagipin natin yan. Kahit aso nga, di ba? Alagang baboy, kabayo, doon sa Batangas, nung nagkaroon ng eruption sa Taal, sasagipin yung mga kabayo. Because, it's a life, no? Animal life. Kahit mga hayop yan, no? It's a life. Sagipin natin, aso, sagipin natin, kawawa naman. Pag hindi mo sinagip yan, tiningnan mo lang, pinapanood mo yung isang taong namamatay, you'll be labeled as something, no? Parang you'll be labeled as psychotic, baliw ka, or if not, para kang antisocial. Kung may taong nangangailangan ng tulong, wala, di mo tutulungan, papanoorin mo lang. So there must be something wrong pag hindi mo tinulungan. So parang in a way, talagang natural inclination lang natin yan, tumulong, lalo na sa kapwa. Pero yung itong si Immanuel Kant, he made it a point that you are obliged to perform the good action. In short, responsibility mo ang kapwa mo, bawat isa sa atin is a responsibility to the other. Sa sa Filipino philosophy, ang Pinoy, ganun din tayo eh. Yung salitang kapwa-tao, nakikipagkapwa, because when kapwa, kapwa ko, mahal ko, kapwa-tao, ibig sabihin, you find yourself in the other person. You see yourself as another. Diba? Ako ay katulad din nila. Kapwa ko yun eh. Equal, we are equal. So that's why ang sa atin, we look at the other person as yourself, no? Parang kapatid ko yan eh. Parang kapatid ko na yan. Parang ako na rin yun. So tinulungan ko siya kasi pagka may nangyaring masama sa kanya, parang may nangyari na rin masama sa akin. Masasaktan ako, malulungkot ako. That's why kailangan ko siyang tulungan kasi kapwa ko siya. So yan din yung si Immanuel Kant na kingdom of ends. Na what if it's a very beautiful word to say that each one of us would look at the other person as oneself, no? Do not treat the other person as a means to an end, but always as an end. In yung ni Emmanuel Kant, second formulation of the categorical imperative. So the description here is parang it's a perfect society, no? We treat each other as ends, not as means. So yan ang parang shortcut na explanation man with what is categorical imperative. We are obliged for the welfare of the other person. Yan ang yun yung categorical imperative. Yung itong yung si Legwain, no? Yung the ones who walk away from Melas, he drew a portrait of a perfect society pero merong defect eh. The most that he could create of a perfect society is meron pa ring kaunting defective yung society niya, no? Kasi no matter how ideal a society is, mayroong defect. So yun yung doon sa yun yung sa Kumbela. Very interesting ang diyan reading. You read that short story, no? And yun nga yung kasi yung na natin, pag-usapan na natin yung anyway. Yung the society that is being illustrated in the short story ay meron silang may something sa kanilang society. There's a secret behind it, that there's the reason of the order in their society is something that is hard to accept, unacceptable, something that is held as secret, or if not a secret, something that they do not talk about, something they ignore. They would rather not talk about it kasi malulungkot ka lang, baka masasaktan ka, then you would rather not talk about it, ignore the fact that there is this existing suffering somewhere. So kaya ang title diyan, the ones who walk away, those are the ones who could not bear the suffering of the other. Di namin kayang ganito, no, to enjoy a world like this. And but somewhere out there, someone is suffering. So, and then you reflect to the society outside as a whole. You compare to progressive societies like saan sa mundo na masarap tumirahan. Saan ba? Europe, Switzerland. Kung gusto mo ng tahimik, diba, you could find a place somewhere in Europe, no? Maybe Switzerland. Kalaga ka lang ng mga kalabaw doon. Dairies, kain ng chocolates. But kung gusto mo ng glamorous life, you go to the United States, in Hollywood, where you find famous celebrities. No? You live the lifestyle of the rich and famous in Hollywood. So America. So it's good to be an American. Pero some Americans would decide to travel, would rather go and live to the Philippines. And dito nag-migrate Americans. Why? I don't want to be part of their politics. So what is the politics of the Americans? So syempre, they're the world's fiercest army. The US Air Force, wherein they are considered the world police. Pag may gulo sa ibang dako ng mundo, kikialam sila doon para silang peacemakers. Parang pulis nga, di ba? Sobrang layo ng Middle East sa Amerika, no? Magkabilang mundo, no? Opposite side of the globe. Pero liliparin ng Amerika yan to interfere in the trouble in Middle East. So, syempre meron yan silang mga vested interest why they do so. But kailangan nilang to interfere in the trouble. So they have their own hidden agenda in the Middle East. So what is the Middle East? Yan yung the country that has rich oil resources. Like Saudi Arabia, yung mayaman sa gasolina ba. And so yun, meron silang neoliberal na agenda. Gusto nilang sila magtayo ng oil company doon sa Middle East. So, yun na. To be an American, sarap ng buhay. You have your own swimming pool right at your own house. You have your own car. Diba? Meron kang aso na cute na bihisan mo ng parang tao. Si Paris Hilton. At saka yung mga the Kardashian. The Kardashian, di ba? Kardashians. So, yun yung natin, comparison ba? Ganda ng buhay. Whereas tayo, Pilipinas, we are a colony of America once. And then look at us, no? Squatter houses, patong-patong, ganyan. So you compare the quality of life, yung isang bahay, napakagara, ang laki ng bahay ni Numa, no? Si Paris Hilton. Owner of the Hilton Hotel, I guess. And somewhere in Paranaque, parang may hotel si Paris Hilton dyan. Garang hotel. So, yun ang buhay ng Amerikano. Mayaman. Sa bahay mo, parang palace. Mayroon kang swimming pool. Meron kang kotse na napakagara, napakaganda, luxurious car. Then, as a Filipino, agricultural country, pa rin, papalay, hatak ng kalabaw. So, napakalayo ng agwat. Pero sa ang buhay na niraranas ng mga Americans ngayon, the story behind that is a very bloody endeavor sa mga leaders ng American society. So, ipagdigma sila sa Pilipinas, no? A thing in the past na binura sa ating history books. No, wala kang mababasa diyan na digma ng Philippine and American War. Ang mababasa mo lang Spanish War, no? Philippine-Spanish War. Pero yung Philippine-American War, wala kang detalye mabasa sa mga history books. But it happened. So, before Vietnam, there was the Philippines. Practice muna yung mga sundalo nila dito sa Pilipinas. And so, the glamour of American society behind that is they become so aggressive in their relations with other countries, to the point that the Philippines, for example, we become a colony of the Americans. What it means when we become a colony, lahat from 1901 nung hinuli si Emilio Rinaldo until 1935 nung nagkaroon ng Commonwealth government, the Philippines is led by the American president. So, yan, ang layo na ng pinag-usapan natin, naging politics na siya, pero yun yung pwede nating i-compare dun sa yung sacrifice ba. Bakit atong tanong dito, bakit ang description ni Gwen ng perfect society, bakit meron pa ring defect? Kasi pag sabi mong perfect society, sana walang defect. Pero for me, it is an affirmation of the realities of life. Kasi ang buhay, no matter how perfect the life you are living in, meron talagang it's a reality of life na merong flow eh. In short, there's no such thing as a perfect life. Merong flow lagi, no? Merong flow lagi, no? It could be minor flows, it could be matters of sacrifices, no? So in life, parang kaakibat ng buhay is to have certain sacrifices. Kailangan mong mag-sacrifice, no? When you fall in love, no? Love is a perfect feeling. Masarap ma-in love, no? Pero you need to take risks, no? You need to take risks. In other words, you need to allow yourself to sacrifice ba, sort of, no? Kailangan mo to undergo certain form of pain and suffering, no? When you fall in love, for example. Yung pagiging parent, no? It's one example. You need to sacrifice a lot for your child, for your children. Yung simula nung pinalaki mo yung bata, no? So much sacrifices. As a parent, ang daming sacrifices na ginawa ng parent natin, ng parents nyo, no? Mula pa lang nung pagpalaki sa inyo, mula nung bata pa lang kayo, no? Mga sleepless nights para tumigil kayo sa pag-iyak, yung sanggol, no? Pagpatahan nung sanggol, no? These are form of sacrifices. Breastfeeding nung nanay, no? sakit kaya nung magpa-breastfeed, kakagatin nung isang yung ano mo. So it involves a lot of sacrifices. Pero bakit ginagawa ng nanay na sinasaktan niya yung sarili niya? Because it's a sacrifice of the mother for the child. So nga na, ganung analogy, merong in a society, merong talagang flow, no? Mahirap mag-create ng society na perfect, na walang flow, no? That's why yung description diyan sa the ones who walk away with Umelas, may nilagay siyang flow din sa society. Ganda yung description na sa simula pa lang, napakaganda, no? Festival, ganda ng society nila, no? Pero towards the end, may ano pala, problema. And then there are those who decide to leave Melas. Alis na lang kami. Di baling wala kaming magpatunguhan. So that kind of attitude, no, na being described. Baga, there are people, like we are in a pandemic, and then we are in a pandemic. Then there are so many nung nagka-pandemic, alam mo, tumaas yung mga tao naghahanap ng sa internet, na online, naghahanap ng readings about mental health. Kasi parang napapaliw na sila sa bahay nila, hindi sila umaalis, hindi sila yes, being at home could be an opportunity also to mingle, to bonding with family members, pero parang may iba pa rin parang na may kaya yung iba tumaas yung sa search terms na hinahanap sa internet. Maraming naghahanap ng mental health ngayong panahon ng pandemic. Ba't nga ba tayo na umabot yan? Mental health. In a perfect society, ganun din may ano talaga, may flaws. So parang kumbaga, I'm giving you overview, tapos para mag-guide kayo, you read yung the ones who walk away from it. It's very interesting reading that could help you discern what kind of society is good for the Filipino, for the society. So in your you can relate that when you discuss yung reports ninyo, Kant, and then si Utilitarianism, talaga yun. By the way, yung si the story of the ones who walk away from Melas is taken as parang critique or reaction to utilitarian philosophy, utilitarian ethics. Yan ang din, yung pagbasa mo dun sa Ursula K. Le Guin, sulat yan. Sahin nyo yan, yung Melas. Maintindihan nyo yan pagka binasa. Description of the society na thing. So maganda yun, yung pag advanced reading na kayo, basahin na yung John Rawls. So John Rawls, yung kanyang philosophy is also reaction din yun reaction din yun ng utilitarian philosophy, si John Rawls. So like Ursula Le Guin, si Ursula gumawa siya ng mundo niya through a short story, a fictional short story. Si si John Rawls came up with kanyang sariling version ng ideal society or perfect society through a method. What is the method? Through what he termed as the veil of ignorance. What is this veil of ignorance? Veil is yung sinusuot ng mga babaeng Islam. Belo, takip sa mukha. Mga Islam kasi, they cover their identity. Lalo na babae, hindi ka pwedeng makilala. As a matter of fact, mata lang, magkakakonti pa, no? Mata lang yung lumalabas. Pag tinitingnan mo, hindi mo tayo makilala kung sino yan under the veil. So, the veil of ignorance, imaginary veil. Yung si John Rawls, walang veil na physical, but it's imaginary veil, parang magic. What if there's some sort of veil that all of the sudden you look at others equally? So, ano yung alisin mo pagka sinabi mong pantay na pagtingin sa kapwa? So, alisin mo yung background mo, no? Pagiging mayaman o mahirap, pagiging edukado o hindi, yung kulay, race, black, African, Asian, Caucasian, puti, no? Racism, speaking of, in the United States, yung mga Asian, ina-attack, galit sila, they blame the Chinese and Asians for the COVID pandemic. So, alisin mo yan lahat ng maaring balakid sa pagtingin mo ng pantay sa iba. Tanggalin mo, yun yung veil of ignorance. So, John Rawls yan. So, to the point that darating tayo sa tinatawag niyang original position. So, original position like children, yung original position nung pinanganak ka, ano ka, no? So, hubad ka nung pinanganak ka, no? Walang kasinungalingan. And then you are also endowed with innocence. Yung bata, innocence, walang kaalam-alam sa mundo. So, you look at others in a way that you embody this original position. Like children, na walang bias towards each other, walang bias toward one another. So, yung in short, itong original position, sort of an updated version of Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. So, in short, John Rawls is a Kantian philosopher. So, John Rawls maintained the inviolability of human life, like Immanuel Kant, meaning life is inviolable. When you say inviolable, you cannot violate anybody. You have no right to hurt anyone, no matter what kind of person that is. Masamang tao man yan, diba, sabihin natin nakapatay ng tao, isang criminal, you have no right to claim his life, no? Yung capital punishment, which is death, is not acceptable under Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. You have no right because it's a human life, it's inviolable. You have to treat a human life with dignity and respect. So that's why you can't violate a life of a human being, especially buhay yun eh. Hindi mo pagmamay-ari ang buhay ng isang tao, so you have no right to claim a life of another. Ganun ang maintenance na ginawa ni John Rawls sa utilitarian theory. Kasi nauna yung utilitarian theory, merong sacrificial element ang utilitarian theory. Parang baliw ang mga utilitarians na sacrifice one for the benefit of 99. So, in a society of 100 people, kung kailangan mamatay yung isa para mag-survive yung 99, pwede gawin natin. Ganyan. So, the numbers matter in utilitarian thinking. So, through the years, maraming nagkritik sa utilitarianism. Tingnan yung pinadala ko sa inyo um, yung arguments ba, yung train, yung nasa train, no, yung trolley argument. What if may sakay yung train, sabihin natin 10 tao, no, ano na siya, na wala yung train, no, babangga na. Pero you're just a way to save it, i-divert mo, no, yung 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 car, no, yung train, i-divert mo. What if merong isang tao doon, sabihin natin janitor doon sa release, no? If it's necessary to intentionally kill the person to save the 10 aboard the train, sige, gagawin mo yun. Utilitarian thinking. Di baling may mamatay isa but you were able to save 10 kasi mas marami eh. Kasi to the majority man, to the welfare, to the benefit of the majority, ang utilitarian. So paano yan? Will you intentionally kill one to save 10? Whereas yung 10 hindi mo sinadya, aksidente yun eh, wala ka sanang pananagutan. Another problem, what if kasi yung numbers, yung organ donor problem, merong isa doon na what if there are, sabihin natin, 5 persons who need organ transplant. Tapos yung isa kailangan niya ng kidney, yung isa kailangan any body part, no, example lang, no, para mabuhay siya, no? Kailangan natin ng organ donor. But there's this one person who could satisfy the organ donation, no? Meaning, wala tayong organ donor pero there's this one person pwede natin pagkukunan ng parts. So ang tanong diyan, will you kill one person to save 5? No, mabuhay siya. Kasi yung number ang majority kaya ng utilitarianism. So will you kill one to save 5? Kuhanin mo yung kidney ng isang tao. So in a utilitarian point of view, it might be reasonable. Sige, 5 naman mabubuhay dyan eh. Given kung mabubuhay talaga, no? Pero syempre, hindi ganun kadali yan. Medical procedure, maaaring mamatay pa rin yan. Pero the point is, how serious is that kung mas marami, mas nakakabuti kung maraming mag-benefit? How serious is that claim? So what if, ito yung argument dyan, what if, 10 yung niligtas mo sa train, isa yung namatay, pero yung isang namatay doon ay napakabait pala na tao yun, ang daming natulungan na kapwa. Whereas yung 10 niligtas mo ay tumakas pala yung galing bilibid. Niligtas mo yung buhay ng mga takas, mga pugantis sa bilibid, na ang kaso ay murder, no? So you save 10 murderers in return of the single life of a very decent person. Yung organ donor, what if yun nga, same argument, mga terorista pala yung binigyan mo ng organ transplant, pero mga terorista pala yun, dami ng pinatay, no, pinasabog ng mga buildings kasi terrorists. Tapos ang pinagkukunan mo ng organ donation, isang doktor na maraming nailigtas na tao, no? So, ngayon, pag-iisipan mo, gaano katama ang pag sinabi mong to the benefit of the majority? What if the majority ay hindi naman deserving doon sa sacrifice, no? Ng yun nga, yung buhay ng isang doktor na maraming niligtas na buhay, ayun pa yung ginamit na organ donation. Kasi mas maraming mabubuhay pag kinuha mo yung body parts niya, no? So, syempre, analogy lang yun. Hindi yan mangyayari in real life, no? Pero parang to give life to the story ba? Kaya ginamitan ng ganyang analogy ng organ donation problem. To question the theory of utilitarianism. How serious or how sure are you na masaya yung society pag majority will benefit? Are you sure na ma-attain ang welfare ng society if the majority will benefit to the sacrifice of a few individuals? So this is why yung John Rawls, very interesting, came up with a concept na, and then later on, actually ang philosophy hindi pa tapos yan, no? So John Rawls, another Indian philosopher who critic John Rawls, si Amartya Sen, hindi nakasali sa curriculum natin, pero very interesting economist, utilitarian, and also John Rawls, no? Rawlsian, but he critic Rawls. Amartya Sen, sulat nyo o hanapin nyo sa internet. Ginawaran ng Nobel Prize in Economics si Amartya Sen. Ganun siya talino. Nobel Prize in Economics, Indian philosopher Amartya Sen. And I think buhay pa ngayon si Amartya Sen. I'm not sure though kung ano, hindi ako updated sa buhay na. Pero kapanahonan natin yan si Amartya Sen. Very interesting din na economist. Then another, dun sa last part ng reading, si Enrique Dussel, very interesting. You look at the world as a dichotomy of East and West through the domination of the Western powers. So yun, interesting reading din yun, Enrique Dussel. So Enrique Dussel, wala masyadong reference in English kasi ano siya Argentinian. So maraming nagsulat o maraming sinulat si Enrique Dussel pero Espanyol. So hindi natin maintindihan. Pero I think by now marami na rin nagsulat about Enrique Dussel in English. And then many of the works of Enrique Dussel is also translated into English. So kung mag-research kayo, you're interested to read Enrique Dussel. And even in the internet, no, in YouTube, for example, mayroong Enrique Dussel diyan, marami mga lectures. Si Enrique Dussel at some point marunong din mag-English, no? Kinag-aral yan sa Europa. Marunong mag-English. So merong mga lectures na nag-i-English siya, no? He tried his best to speak in English. Hindi siya fluent, pero marunong nakaintindi siya ng English. And then yung mga translator ng kanyang libro, kinoconsult siya, no, in English. So it means that naiintindihan niya yung English at nakakapagsalita siya ng English, no, even though hindi fluent, pero maiintindihan pa rin. So very interesting philosophers na nakasali din sa lineup natin din sa ating discussion, no, sa ating libro. So I think by now kita nyo na naman yung yung overall picture ng ethics na pinisenta namin sa inyo, yung based on our lineup of topics. We started with Aristotle, and then we have Aquinas, religion. So virtue is about self-discipline, then religion, of course. Kulang ang buhay ng tao kung walang religion. And then And then society through Immanuel Kant. And then yung rights, basic rights, makita natin reading John Rawls, Amartya Sen. Sayang walang Amartya Sen sa line-up, pero maganda sana yun. And then of course Enrique Dussel, yung the division in society being subject of the neoliberal agenda. Merong world superpower that dominates through Western influence. So merong division in East and West, West, America, and China. And within our own society, pareho sana tayong Asian, Chinese, and Filipino, Vietnam, and pero there is a trouble between among us. No? Meron pa ring domination between Chinese society and the Filipinos. May problema tayo sa West Philippine Sea. So, ang ethics actually hindi lang siya individual morality ang pinag-usapan dito, but it also talks about the state, how to properly or to effectively run a state. Ethics for leaders also. Pasok natin yan dyan. So, lalo na sa usapang utilitarianism, yung current president natin is labeled as utilitarian. Is it true? Is he really utilitarian? So, I know na mga matatalino ang accountancy. Kasi, siyempre, nung sa senior high school, pagka ang yung anong tawag yan, yung kapag yung kinuha mo yung ABM, di ba? Matatalino ang mga estudyante dyan sa ABM, which led to yung accountancy. Saka hindi biro ang accountancy, mahirap na course yan. Yan ang mga matatalino sa lalo pat professional course yung accountancy, kasi magkuha kayo ng yung examination ba, professional examination, licensure exam, meron yan. So matalino ang mga nasa accountancy. And then so it's already time so sarap magipagkwentuhan, pero and we have to end this. Okay, so thank you so much for this morning. Sarap makipagkwentuhan sa inyo, kaso we have to end, it's already time. Thank you so much for your time. Kung merong problem, you message me, email. Thank you so much. Let us adjourn this meeting. God bless. Magandang umaga. Right. And so thank you so much. If you happen to watch this video, thank you so much for watching. So I am recording my online class for purposes of reference to my students. So there are those who are absent in the class, and they can always refer to this video. Makita nila itong online discussion nung araw na yun, hindi sila makapasok, online class. So ganda ng technology kasi anytime pwede nilang tingnan yung klase. Yeah, so this is not an official recording, So this is my personal file, personal recording. So, and also for the benefit of my students na para meron silang access na makita nila yung klase. And other than that, parang content na rin ng dito sa YouTube. And pag magandang internet yung dito, okay lang mag-live. And so, ito ang live ng isang online classroom. I am preparing for a presentation. So I am preparing for a webinar, an online lecture webinar. Hindi ko pa naisulat. Hindi ko rin alam paano ko susulatin. And then hindi pa nagkaroon ng time kasi sulat. But I'm going to present in a webinar soon, very soon. But I have not prepared yet. Wala akong write-ups ng presentation. Nor I have not also prepared a PowerPoint. It's supposed to be a presentation with PowerPoint through Zoom. It's an online webinar. So one of these days I will also mag-live ako dito sa YouTube nang i-discuss ko yung gusto kong i-present sa webinar. So one of these days mag-discuss ako ng topic ko, present ko sa inyo para ma-rehearse yung sarili ko. Kasi wala akong masyadong preparation hindi ako nakapag-masal. Sa may online classes kami, wala akong ganong preparation for that lecture. So I will rehearse here in YouTube through my personal page. Dito mag-YouTube live ako din. I will rehearse, think about the topic. Hindi ko not a rehearsal, pero parang isanay ko na yung mind ko ba how to think about the problem. So pag hindi busy, nag-iisipan ko yun. I'm going to present about something about history. Look back in history and try to come up with a different interpretation. So, tinatawag nila itong historical revisionism, but on my part, I don't think so. That's part of the development of historical interpretations. So I will take a closer look about the occurrence in history. So specifically yung Plaza Miranda bombing, yung first quarter storm, si Ninoy Aquino, President Marcos, Juma season. Titignan natin yung connections nila, interrelations and discussion ko sa form of affirmation of the Duterte presidency. So anti-dilawan ang aking presentation, and critique also the NPA movement. And so I am not a pro Marcos. I'm certainly not a pro Marcos, pero I'm trying to show a different interpretation of Philippine history through these events. So yun ang yung mahirap siya in a sense that I am not an expert in this field. I am not a historian, pero I will try my best to give justice to this topic also. And also to ano, di ba? To enhance the argument. So patayin na natin ang aircon kasi so yun, I think one of these days magla-live ako ulit, tapos i-discuss ko yung aking topic sa presentation, parang yung sanay na yung sarili ko. Tsaka during the presentation I will also present live dito sa aking sarili page. Live ko yung sarili ko for presenting in the forum. So I'm going to go down and spend time with my baby. I am going to spend time with my baby. Well, while nakabukas ang ano, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, and also hit like on my videos. So mamaya naman ulit I will be broadcasting live. So for now, i-stop ko muna itong aking broadcast. Thank you. See you again in the next live stream. Thank you.